may well be living in a time where everybody is going to know the nobodies who are becoming somebodies. Hi, this is Barry Phillips with 10-Minute Torah, day number 1 of the Torah portion, Balaq. Let's go to the book of Numbers, Midbar, chapter number 22, and read a couple of verses, starting with verse 1. And the children of Israel set out, encamped in the desert plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan of Jericho. And Balaq, son of Zippor, saw all that Israel had done to the Amorites. And Moab was exceedingly afraid of the people because they were many, and Moab was in dread because of the children of Israel. So, what does that opening line mean? Many of us would look in the mirror perhaps and have, as far as world impact goes, as far as maybe even state level or community level impact would go, we would have low expectations of ourselves. Most of us spend our days, our weeks, our time doing the normal things of life. We tend to our families, we work our jobs, we pay our bills, we do what commerce and business has to be done, and we go quietly along our way. We keep Shabbat, we watch what we eat, we keep feast days, we employ the tenets of the Torah in our everyday life to the best of our understanding and ability, and we're learning all the time. Maybe we have too low an expectation of ourselves. After all, it is by the word of the Torah that the world itself came into existence. Think about that. Yah used his word. He just spoke, and the world came to be. Colossians chapter 1 teaches, or chapter 2 rather, teaches us that it is the word Yeshua who brought all things into existence. John, Yochanan, chapter number 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with Elohim, and the Word was Elohim. Verse 14 of that chapter says that the Word became flesh. It became revealed to us. He tabernacled among us. Now that the Word not only exists in the form of our scriptures, our Bibles, our study materials, but also has a dwelling place, a residing place within us, and we speak that Word, we live that Word, we act out that Word in obedience. The Word that brought the world into existence has a formulation. It has a function in society and the world around us. Its power can be demonstrated even in the simplest of things in our daily living, showing kindness, giving mercy, offering forgiveness, giving wisdom and understanding to someone. It doesn't have to be that you do a dramatic healing or perform some kind of awe-inspiring miracle. Just your daily life can be a demonstration of the validity and the power of the Word. Israel was doing what they were commanded to do. Yah gave Moshe instructions. Now rise up, go against Sihon, king of the Amorites, go against Og of Bashan, and defeat them. And they did so. These two kings and their city-state armies, rabbinically, they are described as protectors of the entranceway, the gateways into the land of Israel. They were supposed to be the gatekeepers. They were annihilated. These nobodies from nowhere, here they come out of the middle of a wilderness. They're not fresh from Mitzrayim. They're not a grand armed group of people. Perhaps they have gathered now some swords, spears, shields, etc., some sense of armor from those that they have defeated. But this is not an elite army by world standards. It's just that Yah is with them. And he goes before them on the battlefield and destroys their adversaries. Balaq is a Midianite. He has been hired by the Moabites to come over. And that's another long story. Maybe we'll get into that this week. But he has been hired as a mercenary king, Rashi says, to come over and to help the Moabites withstand this threatening army that is now on their doorstep. Balaq is going to invoke sorcery. He realizes numerically we don't match up. We need something more than just military ability and power. We need some things in the spirit realm. Now we come to the crux of the matter. While you and I may not perceive ourselves standing in front of the mirror to be all that or any of that or of any significance or of any superb role-playing thing going on here, those who stand and look at us in the spirit may have a different evaluation. You see, when men and women who have given themselves to the Word, who walk in the Spirit of the Most High, who simply read this book and believe it and put it into practice, when they put their knees on the ground and begin to pray, when they stand with their faces toward Jerusalem and lift up their hands and begin to declare the kingdom of the Most High, when they forgive those who have wounded them the most, when they love without expectation of anything in return, when they give out of the sheer joy of giving because Yah has prompted them to do so, when they speak with wisdom that is not of their own making, but Yah's filling their hearts and their mouths and telling them what to say to someone who needs to hear an encouraging word or even a word of reproof. When the people of Yah do what we're supposed to do, and then we begin to pray, the spirit realm begins to shake. Balaq knew that it wasn't just the numbers of some 600,000 footmen of Israel that was his adversary, but he knew that there was a power, a spiritual ability that stood with them, behind them, among them, that enabled them to overcome their adversaries. Perhaps he had an understanding. It's not just my area, but the whole region, the whole nations around us, they're under a great assault here. And this, maybe by some means, I don't know, maybe by some means they had heard of the legends of the patriarchs and the covenant promise that one day their children would return, perhaps. Know this, while Israel fails to find the spotlight in the newsreels in comparison to European nations or the United States or the Russia-Ukraine situation as it's developed, maybe they're on the back burner. Make no mistake about it. As time goes on, Israel and all that takes place within its land is going to be more and more in the forefront of things because Yah's eyes are upon that nation. While you may not see yourself as somebody, Yah does. You are not a nobody. And there is coming a day where everybody that is around you that yet walks in darkness is going to see the brightness of your shining, according to Isaiah chapter 60. Do not be taken by surprise when you're brought out of the shadows, from behind the curtains, out of the masses, and you've been given an opportunity to stand out front. Be bold, be encouraged, be courageous, and do what Yah gives you to do. You are somebody. And don't let anybody tell you any different. We'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, shalom.